It is 9:09 and the Denton County Commissioners Court is now called to order. I apologize for the delay, but sometimes that happens. The first item on the agenda is our invocation by Randy Sheffield with Denton Bible Church, and following the pledges by our own Cindy Brown, our county treasurer. Please stand.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Mitchell, and I'm grateful to be here, and I bring to you greetings from the church family at Denton Bible Church and our senior pastor, Tom Nelson. So please join me as I pray. Well, Father, as we gather today, we thank you for the opportunity that you give us, for the special blessing that you give us to live in a free country, for the amazing state that we call our own, for this precious county, Father, that we live in. And Father, you tell us to pray for our government and for those that are in authority over us. And Father, we do that. And I want to commit this group to you today, these commissioners and these other people that serve our county so well. Just want to commit them to you today, thanking you, Father, for them in a special way. Thanking you for our first responders, for our law enforcement that serve us and protect us in our community where we live. And so, Father, we do want to serve you well, and I pray for wisdom and discernment for this group today, and praying for your blessings on them as they serve. And Father, we remember to thank you for the blessings that come to us because of your goodness and for all that we have in Christ. And it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pledge allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Randy, and thank you, Cindy. We appreciate you. Our next item on the agenda is our public comment. And we have Mr. Willie Husband here. While he's coming up, Mr. Husband has sent us some pictures at the St. John Cemetery because he wanted us to see that the gates were locked and he couldn't get in to work on the cemetery. You got some? Extra.
Commissioners, my name is Willie Hartsmith. I live at 623 Newton. I just to bring some of you up to date that don't know what the issue is that I'm talking about. I'm speaking for those people long ago who were living in Pilot Point and they were freed slaves. First place, they gave them property that was not worth much. You couldn't farm it, you couldn't do much with it, but those people were used to working hard, so they cleared it and they developed it and they were living on it. Something happened that caused them to leave very quickly, and we suspected it was the Klan who ran them off. But they had a burial place there in Pilot Point. And I've been trying to get the county to do some things to that burial place so that they can be honored. So I'm speaking on behalf of those individuals who left and those who are still there underground. It was a place that wasn't kept up, it wasn't kept cleaned up. But the county did do that, but I've asked that we have access to it. There's no way to get into the place. It's a public grave site. It should be accessible to the public, and it isn't. I was told that, yes, the gates are open, but all these years I've been working on that grave site, those gates are never open. And so I asked that we get the public access that once was there brought back. These are individuals who never freed, or were freed right at the end, but then got ran off because the Klan ran them off. And now, for all these years, they've been ignored. And this commissioner's court, along with the other commissioners, decided to just ignore them. Can you imagine having loved ones who are in that site and you can't go see them? So I've asked. Now, something that I'm experiencing now, I'm going through the same kind of thing, something similar. I asked, open the gates so that we can get in there and give us public access again. This court has said to me, we won't put the pictures on the screens up there. I don't know what in the world the difference is in putting the information on the screen or handing out a piece of paper with it on. What is the difference between putting it up there and handing this to me? I don't know. Now, I was told there is a rule that says you can't put it up there. There's no rule that I know of. I asked that rule be presented. If you can't put that up there, commissioners who are going to be elected or not elected, what?
Your time is up. 3 minutes is up. Cheryl is. And Mr. Husband, if you'll stick around, we can't discuss this, but I talked to staff when you sent those pictures, and I told them that I wanted some facts about how you can get in that gate and what is going out there. And I've asked Peggy Riddle to come up and give you that information, so you will have that information before you leave. So please don't leave. Listen to what she has to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peggy? And we can't discuss it, but we can make a statement of facts in response to Mr. Husband. The commissioners can't, but Peggy is going to talk about how Mr. Husband can get into St. John Cemetery.
Yes, and all this new technology here, I'm not sure I know how to make it go forward or backwards. Oh, it's going to be down there. Okay. A keyboard? There it is. Perfect.
And we do have the caretaker here also of that cemetery, Mr. Husband, so I want you to get all this information.
Yes, so this is a update, a report by my staff and I to bring y'all up to date of what we've been doing since 2016 at the St. John Cemetery, when it was first brought to our attention that it was an abandoned cemetery. And the court was able to determine that it was a health risk and that they could spend county dollars to get it cleaned up and maintained. This is, it's located on 1.5 acres of land between at least 3 horse farms out there. The original half acre of those that were buried there were buried in what's known as the Bonner Cemetery, the family that used to own the land. We think they were slaves of the Bonner family, and they were buried on this property. The St. John Church that moved from Alabama to Pilot Point, the families, they needed a place to bury their loved ones. I'm going to show you. This shows you what was known as the St. John's School and Church. And then that red square shows you the cemetery. This is a 1918 map, soil conservation map of the county. So this was the closest existing African-American cemetery to St. John's. And so the trustees bought a whole acre to bury their congregation, their members. We have never found the lease for the half acre, but the deed for the 1 acre does mention the half acre that's already existing. This has been on our maps, on all maps, since they bought it in the 1920s. So there's no dispute over the boundaries. We know where it is, and the homeowners, the property owners around there, all knew that cemetery existed. And so we're not going to get into any land disputes, because there's nothing in the records, in our deed records, that show the cemetery being sold back and forth. There's always talk about the land around it. Now this is showing you, we've had our county survey, last Denton County surveyor, independent surveyor now, Bill Coleman, out there several times, and he has completed the final survey of the property. He's also helped us with cleanup. This is showing you some of the 2016 images of the cemetery. As you can see, it's very wooded. And this is a notification that I sent out in 2016. We had a group of people who wanted to volunteer to help us clean it up. And as you can see, there clearly is a phone number for people to contact. Everybody got this, and I sent it out several times for those who wanted to help us clean up, because this is a private road. It is owned by a landowner, private landowner, who lets us come onto that road so that we can get to the cemetery. So we do contact the landowners before we come out to let them know, and we have their permission. Just like if somebody came onto your property and wanted to do a cleanup, you know, we do this every time we go out there. So we let them know that we're going. We don't publish the gate code. My staff and I meet them out there.
But are the gates locked, Peggy?
The gates are locked.
Okay, and
because
why are they locked?
they are
Do you
locked
know?
because on either side of that road are very valuable horses. And they've had problems in the past when it wasn't a private road of drug dealing in the cemetery, of people knocking down headstones, doing a lot of vandalism. We've all read about cemeteries that get vandalized, and this one was vandalized. So there are probably monuments missing from the cemetery, and that's the main reason. There was evidently a notorious drug dealer who owned land near there, and they would have planes fly in and, you know, all sorts of things going on. So we're there, you know, the road is to protect the property owners from anybody trying to come in. People have tried to steal equipment, and, you know, these are just things that you want to be aware of, that we've got to all be vigilant and try to respect the rights of these property owners. So that's what I send out every time that we go there. I think I'm going the wrong way, but let me go back to show you when after the cleanup, this it had a sign on this cemetery that Boy Scouts put up based on local folklore that it was called the Old Slave Cemetery. We took that down because we know in the records, and this is through death records, that it's called St. John or Bonner, never referred to on public records as Old Slave. It's just, I think, local. This is one of the headstones. Mr. Whitlow was very, very important to the group of settlers who came from Alabama, and he's buried there. And we have documented the grave sites. There's about 50 grave sites. And we know a lot about him from the history in Pilot Point. We do know the community dispersed before the lake was put in and before 1940. And the reason why is in the 1940, all the one-room schoolhouses in St. John had a one-room schoolhouse, were made illegal. They all had to become a part of an independent school district, and so those kids either went to school in town or they went to Gainesville, which was also close to. There was another community, African American schools, so they had to. They couldn't have a school anymore. This is showing some of the cleanup with our landscape company. You can see quite a bit of lumber. We are in the cross timbers here. To date, the county has spent over $89,000 to get rid of poison ivy.
Does Mr. Husband have access? Can he get into the
Yes.
cemetery?
Yes, he can.
That's what what does he need to do to get into the
He
cemetery?
has the gate code.
Mr. Husband, do you have the gate code? Do we need to give that to you again? It doesn't work? Okay, well then,
It hasn't been changed, has it, Susie?
okay. But before he leave, I want to make sure that he gets the gate code so he can get into the cemetery.
No, I know it's, I know
Peggy,
what I know is true.
Peggy, let's not get into a discussion. We're gonna get Mr. Husband the gate code. He doesn't want to listen to the rest of the information, and that's fine, but I want to make sure he gets a gate code.
Today, just call him and give it to
Call him and give him the gate code, because I don't want to give it out in
I'm
public, so
sorry.
call
Right.
him and give him the gate code so he can get in to the cemetery.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I have documentation that backs up everything I've said. You do too. I've
Yes,
given
I
you
do.
that. And I just want to show you that we have applied for a state cemetery, historic cemetery designation. This shows you the notification we've received. These are some recent photographs.
Okay,
And these are some things that we're going to do for the future. We want to place signs around that let people know that it's going to be a historic cemetery. We want them to not vandalize and trespass. We will continue doing the monthly maintenance with our landscape. We don't want other people going out there raking up leaves because, as our landscape manager has told me, they help with the erosion, and there's
Okay.
been a lot of erosion. We also want to come back before the court to see if we can do the above-ground sonar that will let us know where all the graves are located.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Would you have your staff get with him and give him the gate code? Thank you so much.
Perfect.
I appreciate it. I do have some more comments, requests to speak.
And
Sorry,
we
Kate.
do have the caretaker for the property, Susie Bailey here. Is
Ms. Bailey, if you'd like to speak,
Susie Bailey?
come on up and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Susie Bailey. I'm the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Glenn Stinchcomb. Mr. Stinchcomb has passed away. My mother, Hilda Nelson Stinchcomb, is still alive. But she doesn't live out there. She's in a nursing home in Dallas, and this was their family. My stepfather, Mr. Stinchcomb, he had a large family, and they have they still come out to the farm and with their grandchildren, and they just were there for a month, a bunch of his children and the grandchildren for the holidays. And if we had the other neighbor that I share our private driveway, it's always been a private driveway. It's just that it didn't have the gates at the front when another owner at the front had it, and we share both of it. I used to have to keep my gate down to my part of the driveway closed and locked because of I had people in there who were practicing their black arts, which show up at sunset, with their black makeup on and everything, and wanting to practice satanic rites there and all that stuff. And then I had people wheeling in and out of there all the time. And I live out there by myself. I'm the caretaker of the family and live out there and take care of the livestock and the property. And the cemetery is only about 100 feet from my front door. So having people there I realize that according to the law that, I'm supposed to grant access.
Right.
I have no problem with that, and I love the fact that it's finally getting cleaned up. It's been cleaned up. Several different people over the last 30 years have had their own agendas, political or elsewise, who have come out periodically and cleaned it up, and then they're gone. I don't even remember their names because they have the TV stations out there and make a big production, how wonderful they are, and then they disappear, and then I'm left with me and my ghost. and I go out there and I've always tried to go out there to do the best I could at the times. But anyway,
Okay.
I just want you to know, it's a private driveway, and the reason we have the security gates there is that other neighbor, she had the money to put them up because we have loose livestock on the property. And we have private homes there. I don't want to have where I have to worry, like when I was in Dallas, locking my doors in the middle of the day every time I walk in and out of my home out there in the country, to lock my homes behind me every time I walk in and out of my door during the middle of the day. And the whole reason we bought the property is because that beautiful tree-lined private driveway up to the property. It's a half a mile long, and it goes back, and it's totally isolated back there, and it's just, wonderful. We wanted to be, get away from everyone, and not have anyone. And so having it, having a run of people in and out, they're driving in and out, tearing everything up, tearing the fences down, leaving the gates open, and letting the livestock roam, all over the place, and getting hit by the highway up there and everything. That's my concern.
Okay, and I thank you for coming. I just want to make sure that if Mr. Husband called and need access to the cemetery,
Yeah,
that,
and he's always has.
okay, good.
He always has.
Thank you.
That's never been the problem.
I appreciate that. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Our next speaker is Mr. Stephen Dillenberg. Mr. Dillenberg, would you come and state your name and address for the records, please? It was electronic. I don't think I did.
Stephen Dillenberg, 1004 Abbott's Lane. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, how are you this
Good.
morning, sir?
Good. I've requested y'all's oaths as of February and July last year. I never got them. to the Constitution. So this body, I understand we're not a complete body here this morning, but y'all do believe that the Constitution is the supreme law of this land, correct? And do y'all have any authority to usurp that law? Are y'all allowed to go above and beyond that law here at the Denton County level? Constitution of Texas, Constitution of the United States of America? Y'all are not authorized to go above and beyond that, correct? Okay. There's a number of things that are concerning relative to our trajectory as a society at the local level all the way up to our federal level. Namely, and I know this affects you, sir, so I'm going to direct this to you. If the cure for cancer has existed and was published by the #1 cancer research facility in the world, MD Anderson in Houston, mebendazole elicits a potent anti-tumor effect on human cancer cell lines both in vitro and in vivo. You can look that title up. It'll be in the record now. That was published in 2002 by MD Anderson. Then curiously, all research went away from that class of drugs until 2008, where a chance fluke rediscovery of its efficacy in treating cancer was shown. And so that was a sister drug, fenbendazole. Okay, and both of these things were known by the #1 cancer research facility in the world. Why is that not being told by doctors to patients? Do y'all at the local level have a duty under the Constitution, in your opinion, then, to tell people, hey, we've got a problem here? Because I think that is y'all's duty. Y'all's duty, you swear to protect us from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Whether you know that or not, that's what the language reads. And it's written in common English, so dumb folk like myself have had access to it. It would never be withheld from anyone. And so for these reasons, we've got people that are dying from a cured illness. And y'all need to know about this, and y'all need to make it your priority to get that addressed. And that's not something I've seen from y'all. I can't even get a copy of y'all's oaths to the Constitution. You say, this is something that should be at your desk, ready to go out. You said hang around last time. I didn't. I wasn't going to wait until the end of a however many minute-long meeting, usually a couple hours, for y'all to finish everything here. And I understand y'all have a lot to deal with. But this stuff is important. For example, relative to Mr. Hudspeth here this morning, he got 3 minutes and then he got interrupted. Okay? His issue maybe isn't as big of a deal as the cure for cancer potentially being withheld from somebody who's dying and then died. But his issue is something that our community needs to address. Like, why isn't there an easement on that driveway? Is there a way to add something in like that? And things of that nature. But the response to him was well in excess of 25 minutes. He got 3, and the response was 25. Is that in the interest of the public?
Mr. Dillenberg, your time is up,
I'm aware.
and so please wrap it up. And
Okay.
if you have any more comments, you
Yeah.
can give them to us.
I would
Right.
like for you guys to follow up with me. Unlike the last times that I've spoken here and asked you guys to do something, I'm now asking you guys again, please do y'all's due diligence here and look into this stuff, and then follow up with me actually. Don't just say for the record that you will, okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys so much.
Have a great day. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. The consent agenda is approval of order making appointments and any appropriate action. Appointments have been posted and advertised. Interviews were conducted as set forth in the Denton County policy adopted by the Commissioners Court. Except as otherwise stated in the appointment order, these appointments are within the budgetary constraints of Human Resources. Commissioners, may I have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Says aye, and the consent agenda reads as follows. Approval of intra-departmental transfers and any appropriate action. Approval to B. 2C is approval of budget amendment request number 100-490 for the Public Health Department Clinical Division to transfer $4,000 from vaccines to dues and subscriptions to add additional funding for database subscription with the ability to search for relatives of decedents, and $3,500 from vaccines to maintenance management to fund the annual service for the clinical refrigerator and freezers for a total transfer of $7,500 in any appropriate action. And I think I skipped the Gustavo. You good? Okay. So, 2A is the court orders, order making appointments, and
Commissioner, I think that you already approved that one.
you do what?
I think that you approved 2A already.
Okay, thanks. Okay, y'all, stop me if I make a mistake, it doesn't matter, I won't hurt your feelings. Item 4 is the public hearing, is a 9 a.m. public hearing on January 9th to consider approval of the replat of Odom Addition lots 3R1 and 3R2, Block A, 2.67 acres located in Commissioner Precinct 1, and any appropriate action.
Move approval.
Well,
I move
Oh.
you
Okay.
moved to open the public hearing. I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody here in favor of the public hearing? Anybody opposed? I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of the bill report payments from CSCD, Community
Commissioner,
Corrections.
I'm sorry. We'll need a final motion and second and vote too.
To
to
approve
approve.
it. We had a motion to close the public hearing, but we didn't have a motion to accept it and approve it, so I need a motion.
Move approval.
I have a motion from Commissioner Falconer and a second from Commissioner Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Bianca. Approval of bill report payments from CSCD, Community Corrections, TAIP, Sheriff's Training, Sheriff's Forfeiture, VIT interest, and DA forfeiture funds are presented for recording purposes only. Mr. May.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have one addition today. It's to Citibank for $15,684.47.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and approval from myself and second from Commissioner Falconer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is 6A, approval of specifications and authority to advertise for RFP number 23-2783, disaster debris removal services, and appointment of evaluation committee to include Ben Jackson, Emergency Management Officer 1, Emergency Management, Leslie Freeman, Environmental Health Coordinator, Public Health, Mac Mater, Project Manager, Transportation and Engineering, and any appropriate action.
Move approval.
Second. I have a motion by Kevin and second by Diane. All in favor?
Aye.
I say aye also. All opposed? Motion carries. 6B is approval of specification, RFSQ number 232798, Geotechnical Engineering Services, Denton County Courts Building Expansion, and appointment of evaluation committee to include Chris Lancy, Construction Coordinator, Public Facilities, Brian Bruner, Construction Coordinator, Public Facilities, and Mario Rodriguez, Construction Coordinator, Public Facilities, and any appropriate action.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Edmondson and second by Mr. Falconer. Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 6C, approval of specification and authority to advertise for ITB number 232793, window washing services, and any appropriate action. I move approval.
Second.
I have a motion by myself and second by Ms. Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6D is approval of specification for engineering services for electrical and generator upgrades, RFSQ number 232786, and appointment of evaluation committee to include Robert Akins, Maintenance Repair Specialist 2, Austin Wales, Facility Division Manager, Public Facility, and any appropriate action.
Chris Lindsay is also mentioned there, Commissioner.
Chris Lindsay, yeah, I called his name. I need a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Edmondson, second by, Mr. Falconer, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6E is approval of specification for architectural services for preservations and restoration of historic courthouse on the square. RFSQ number 232784, an appointment of evaluation committee to include Dale Nelson, Public Facilities, Chris Matheson, Brian Townley, Mario Altamirano, Rodriguez, Peggy Riddle, Office of History and Culture, and any appropriate action.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Falconer and second by Ms. Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6F is approval of renewal of bid number 2727 emulsified asphalt with Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions, Inc., and any appropriate action. Second. We have a motion by Ms. Edmondson, second by Mr. Falconer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6G is approval to contract with Guardian for the facilities condition assessment of various county buildings through the Sourcewell Cooperative Contract number 020421-ACT in the amount of $171,778. I move approval.
Second that, but I have a couple of comments.
Okay, come on.
Thank you, Commissioner. So this is the, Gordian is able to provide us with our facility assessment of all of our facilities, and I think this is going to be a great tool for us to be able to understand where we need to be applying our dollars and what timing there is on all those so that we can have basically a grade for all of our buildings. So I think this is going to be really, really important for that. I will say, if you were looking, that there was discussion about which buildings, obviously, and we had some discussion about the Briarwood facilities. They are in this contract at this point to remove, because we're doing it all together and their travel is all put in, to take Briarwood facilities off of that would only save us about $7,000 or so. And I think that probably in the bigger scheme of things, that's going to be really good for us to understand those buildings' facility condition as well. But if you felt like that would be the only discussion point, but I think it's probably worthwhile to have that in there.
Just leave it in there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
We
So
have a-
anyway, I think this is going to be a great tool for us.
Good. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin. Our next item is item 6H, to authorize purchasing to issue a solicitation for architectural services for remodeling in the Horn and Denton County Courts building.
And I move approval on this one also.
Great, this one really needs to get done.
Yeah.
We have a motion by Commissioner Falconer and second by
And I've got a couple of
Commissioner
comments on
Edmondson.
this
And he has some
too.
comments.
So, so this actually is a piece of our Denton County Courts building remodel
Right.
and expansion. So, as you know, we have the new district court that is supposed to
Coming
come
on.
online 1 year from now. And that is a tall task to make sure that we have a place for that court to actually hold court. And so our the team, the steering committee, and the user group have been evaluating this a lot in this process, and the experts are out here and can add any additional information you need. But we think the best way to get that first court online is to actually move some of the team that is on the first floor of the county courts building over to the Horn building, and some of the folks in the Horn building actually can be moved over to the Holcher building. Did I get that right? Okay. And so this is allowing us, because it's such a timely thing, this allows Scott and team to go ahead and start that process of getting the architects going on that piece. And then we'll have in a much more detailed description of all of that that's going on the courts building and these things on our February 1st work session or workshop. But we really didn't think we wanted to wait another 3 weeks to get moving on this so that we can have a better opportunity to have that new district court able to use the facility. We probably won't actually get it in January, but the judges have said, hey, they can, if we have have it shortly thereafter, but it's still a very timely issue. So that's that.
Okay. Thank you for that report, and thank you for serving on that committee,
Sure.
Kevin. Our next item is item 6I.
I don't know that
Did we
Oh,
vote?
we'll need a vote.
Okay.
Yeah, I interrupted before you were able
Yes,
to
you
vote.
did. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6I is approval of award for RFP number 22-2690, Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP Software and Implementation Services to Collaborative Solution LLC, and any appropriate action.
Move approval?
We have a motion from Kevin and second from Diane. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 7A, is approval of budget amendment request number 100-500 for the Office of History and Culture to transfer $19,500 from non-departmental surveys, title, taxes, and testing, and $2,916 from Office of History and Culture administrative supplies to storage payments for a total of $22,416. Funding will be utilized to store the museum's collection in a climate-controlled environmental during the HVAC project at the courthouse on the square. I'll move approval.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of budget amendment request number 100-510 to increase revenues and allocate expenditures in the amount of $47,242 for various M&O line items for the Public Health Medical Reserve Corp Administration for Strategic Response Strong, and that's not a misspelling of strong,
Right.
grant for FY 2024 and any appropriate action.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Falconer, second by Commissioner Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 7C, approval of budget amendment request 100-520 for the sheriff's forfeiture funds to transfer $37,485 from fund balance to recruitment services to cover the cost of extending the contract with the recruitment firm to assist in reaching potential clients for employment at the sheriff's office in any appropriate action.
I'll move approval.
Second?
We have a motion by Commissioner Edmondson and second by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 7D, approval of budget amendment number 100-530 to roll over unspent funds from FY 23 to FY 24 for salary, assistant benefits, and various operating line items for COVID-19 grant, EPI grant in the amount of $248,729.
I'll move approval.
Second?
We have a motion from Commissioner Edmondson, second by Commissioner Falconer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 7E, approval of budget amendment request number 100-540 to roll over unspent funds from FY 23 to FY 24 for the Public Health Preparedness Hazard Grant for salary, assistant benefits, and various operating line items in the amount of $380,420 in any appropriate action.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Edmondson and second by myself. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 7F, approval of budget amendment request number 102-670 for FY 23 to reallocate $1,652,235 between line items with various departments and transfer $288,406 from non-departmental unappropriated contingency to various departments for a total of $1,940,600 $940,641 to cover the line items that had a shortage at the end of the fiscal year and any appropriate action. I'll move approval. I'll second, Kevin. We
Okay.
have a motion for Commissioner Falconer and second for myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, Gustavo, 8A is a report from our Human Resource Director.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have one rehire in Constable Precinct 6, one promotion in the county clerk, one new hire in adult probation, one promotion in JP number 1, one rehire in juvenile probation, one promotion in juvenile probation, 6 new hires in the sheriff's office, and one rehire in the sheriff's office, all of them detention officer 1. Thank you.
Have a
Yay.
good report.
Thank you. Our next item is 10A, approval of the final acceptance of the South County Line Road Reconstruction Project, Commissioner Precinct 4. Any appropriate action?
I'll move approval.
And I'll second it. We have a motion by Commissioner Edmondson and second by myself. All in favor? Any discussion first? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12A is approval of the 2023-24 interlocal agreement between Denton County and Copper Canyon Police Department, the Town of Ponder Police and Volunteer Fire Departments for the use of the Denton County Radio Communication System and any appropriate action.
Move approval.
I have a motion from Commissioner Falconer and a second from Commissioner Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 13A is approval of United Way of Denton County, Inc., funding request to fulfill allocation of American Rescue Plan for housing assistance, nonprofit assistance, and food assistance due to COVID-19 and any appropriate action. I'll move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 14A, approval of additional funding in the amount of $5 million to increase current fund appropriated in amount not to exceed $10 million for the professional service agreement between Denton County, Texas and LJA Engineering for the Denton County Outer Loop Project from I-35 to Dallas North Tollway at a total cost of $27,706,105, with increase in additional funding in the amount of $5 million to come from Outer Loop Judge Trip 22, order to line item number 89-7361-90-20, and any appropriate action.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Edmondson, second from Commissioner Falconer.
Commissioner, I
Any
do have a
discussion?
comment,
Yes.
just so it's understood. The funding for this is being allocated on an as-you-go basis. So $5 million has previously been authorized for expenditure toward these engineering costs. And now this is going to be an additional $5 million that's going toward the ultimate $27 million. So now there's $10 million that's been allocated toward the $27 million. So I don't know if I worded this artfully or not, so I just wanted to make sure that
And we know which,
you all understood what I was trying to say.
okay.
I think it's obvious roads cost a lot of money. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
This one has been on the table for a long time, and,
This is a big
Yeah.
one.
yeah, and it's a lot of money, but it has to get done, so. Thank you, John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 14B, approval of the 2024 amendment to Medicare Advantage with Prescription Drug Benefit Group Agreement between PBC, Denton County, and United Healthcare Insurance Company effective January 1st, 24, with funding from 2024 premiums to be paid from the health insurance plan as recommended by the Denton County Human Resources Department. Gustavo, you have any other comments on that?
No, Commissioners, I just wanted to remind the court that you approved the rates last year, and this is just the document to formalize the situation.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion by myself and second by Commissioner Falconer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 14C, is approval of master agreement for professional services, RFPQ 23-2778, building commissioning services between Farnsworth Group, Inc. and Denton County as recommended by the Denton County Purchasing Director.
Move approval.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We have a motion by Commissioner Falconer and second by Commissioner Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of master agreement for professional services, RFP Q 23-2778, building commissioning services between LEF Engineering, and Denton County, Texas, as recommended by the Denton County Purchasing Director.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Falconer and second by Commissioner Edmondson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're not having an executive session today unless someone has something they need to talk about. We have community updates, and I'm looking for mine. Kevin?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. So as you may know, we have MLK coming up next week, and so there's a lot of events happening around that. Specifically in Carrollton, the MLK parade will be on Saturday the 13th at 10 a.m. Bring a coat. I think it might be a little chilly. So that will be at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and following that will be a event at the middle school. And there's also an adoption event happening today and next week in Carrollton at Sandpack's 5-Star Ford, and Sounds on the Square on the 12th at 5 o'clock in downtown Carrollton, and then the Carrollton Wind Symphony concert is the 15th at 7:30 at Newman Smith High School. That's always good. Be sure and make it to that. And then let's see, in other cities, we've got, we have Frisco has their winter art show on the 14th, 10 to 6 at the Discovery Center, and then reception right after that as well. And I think that's all I have.
Commissioner, did you say there's an adoption event at Sandpack?
There is, so
Is that for pets or children?
well, I'm gonna assume, oh, let's see, it does say it is for pets, so no,
Thank
that
you.
would be different for children.
I just was curious. Thank you very much.
But good question. Should have clarified.
Thank you, Commissioner Edmonds.
Okay, so here in Denton, we're beginning to have seasonal stories at Wolf's Park. That will be on the 11th, 18th, and 19th of January. And it'll be 5 to 6, or 12:30 to 1:30, or 7 to 8 p.m., so all kinds of times and dates. There's an adapted rec dance in the Denton Senior Center on the 12th, and this is for ages 16 plus. Then there's Kids Rock and Parents Night Out on January 12th. Again, this is at the Denton Civic Center. MLK celebration is going to be the 15th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the MLK Rec Center here in Denton. And then adult archery, if any of y'all need a bow and arrow, January 20th from 10 to 12 in the morning at Denia Rec Center. And, you know, next month is Valentine's Day, so maybe you need Cupid's bow and arrow training. Mobile Recreation Unit Park and Play is going to be at Briarcliff Park on January 27th. And then Fun with Recycling, January 23rd at the North Branch Library. Kids 4 to 12 will learn about recycling in a fun, interactive way. An outdoor expo from 9 to 1 on January 27th. I'm going to let Commissioner Mitchell cover the flower mound issues in Lantana. This is when I want to go play. It's a Name That Tune bingo with the Lantana Ladies League, January 17th. Trophy Club has a meet and greet open house at the town hall, and they're going to have an introduction. They have a new town manager, and they're going to introduce those team members that run the town. So I think it's always good to know who runs your town. Thank you, Commissioner.
As you can see, Commissioner Williams is not here today, but he had asked for this to be prepared, and Don Cobb prepared this for him. Today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Yay.
Yay.
A day set aside to express our gratitude for those in law enforcement who put their lives on the line for our safety day in and day out. This annual day of recognition was created in 2015 to show support for more than 900,000 peace officers across the United States. In Denton County, we employ 621 individuals who carry certified peace officer license, almost a third of our overall county workforce. These individuals dedicate many hours of training, not only to obtain their peace officer license, but also each year to maintain those licenses. And they work throughout our county legal system, from the sheriff office and jail to our constables, bailiffs, our district attorneys, our forensic technicians, juvenile, adult probation, as well as our fire marshal's office, to name a few. I would like to express my personal thanks for the dedication and commitment demonstrated daily by our employees in law enforcement and all those who serve across Denton County and the United States of America. My roundup events is Flower Mound's Farmers Market. I don't know if they're going to have it Sunday. It's going to be cold out at Parker Square, but we're going to have a meet and greet on January 11th, 6 to 7:30, 2121 Cross Timbers Road. This meet and greet is for local nature-inspired artists whose paintings, Alex Beichman, whose paintings are currently displayed at Town Hall. On January 15th at 6 p.m., we're going to have our 31st annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration for anyone who want to come out. On that same day, we're going to have at the Macedonia Hembry Cemetery, where we've been cleaning up for the last 2 years, we're going to have a dedication of the flagpole that's there and the gate that the young people have been soliciting money to pay for all of this. So please come out. It starts at 11 o'clock. We're going to have food and lots of talking about this cemetery. So this is one of our African-American cemeteries that we've been working on. In Holland Village, we're going to have a daddy-daughter dance on January 26th, 6:30 to 8:30 at the Hilton Garden Inn in Louisville. Also, we're going to have a YATP Junior musical theater workshop at the Louisville Grand Theater, and that's Young Artist Training Program. Okay, on January 13th, 12:30 to 2 p.m. And then we're going to have a Get a Taste for Reducing Food Waste, January 17th at the Louisville Library from 1 to 2. And we're going to have a Traveling Red River Songwriters on January 18th at the Louisville Grand Theater. And Jimmy Dale Gilmore and the West Texas Exiles, January 20th at 8 p.m. at the Louisville Grand Theater. They're going to be busy. We're going to have a Vital Income Tax Preparation January 25th from 4 to 7, and January 27th from 9:30 to 1 p.m., and that's at the Louisville Library. We will not be having court on next week, and that's all I have. Commissioners, do you have anything? Is there anyone in the audience need to tell us anything? If not, I move for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.